cielo una harina de queso blanco y al sur una montaña de...
This year at All Tribes Coffee Shop, we've seen the most fruit yet. We've shared the gospel to more people than ever before. We've given away many Bibles, books, and movies in many languages. We've grown our relationships with our local Indian friends, seen salvation among travelers, and seen others take steps closer towards Jesus. We've had the opportunity to disciple young believing backpackers from Europe, as well as DTS students, and we have prayed earnestly that God would move in Hampi.
Hola, bienvenidos a All Tribes Café, la cafetería más chévere en toda la India. Aquí en este lugar ministramos a la gente de Jesús y les servimos café, les servimos té, comemos con ellos, compartimos, oramos con las personas. Venga, les enseñamos. Esta es nuestra cocina. Servimos café de Colombia. Aquí tenemos comedores afuera. Allí está nuestro baño. Lo tenemos bien pintadito, bien bonito. Dice toilet. Tenemos la ducha y aquí es nuestra vivienda. Aquí están las camitas para cuidarnos contra los zancuditos. Y este es el kiosco de nosotros. People from all over the world come into the coffee shop. Every day is like a new adventure. You never know who's going to come through the door, whether there's somebody from India or Europe or Israel or South America. We minister to all sorts of people here.
When people come, a lot of times they ask, what is this place? And we say it's a house of love and prayer. Love being the kindness, the coffee, the conversation, and being a positive influence in the community. And prayer being living a lifestyle where our hearts are connected to God. And so we're praying, we're worshiping together. We have meditation here that's open to everyone. And it's beautiful when you sit down with someone, have a cup of coffee, and you begin talking about things that are deeper and more meaningful.
Alright, do this again. Okay, one of the cool things that we've been able to do since being here is that we've ministered to a lot of young couples, which is awesome because we were recently married and we haven't ministered like that before. But a lot of couples have been attracted to us and have been hanging out with us a lot. And so we've been able to minister to them about God, about Jesus. Just one night we went Christmas caroling with this couple we've been hanging out with for a long time from America / Australia. And it was just amazing. We Christmas caroled all night long with the church that is like half an hour away from here. And we went to different villages, we went to an orphanage, and we just sang Christmas carols to all the kids in the orphanage, and we went to different people's homes, and it was just awesome to participate with the Indian church and in sharing the love of Jesus to people over Christmas.
So a few weeks ago, I was crying out to God because there hadn't been a lot of Israelis coming in, and half of our potential customers are Israeli. Like half of the tourists in Hampi are Israeli, and when there's no Israelis coming in, like everyone you could possibly imagine coming in except Israelis, is like, God, why like this? And that day, there were two religious Israeli girls who came in for meditation. And during the meditation, they encountered the love of God. They encountered the presence of God. We just kind of did a visualization where you're in the throne room of God. You can feel His love. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you see light. And just stay in that place of allowing God to speak to you for about 15 minutes, and then we'll share back, right? And they're there, and 15 minutes later, we open our eyes, and they are just crying. They're like, wow, I never felt love like this in my whole entire life. And they went and they told all their friends, and the next day there were 5 Israelis, and the day after that there were 4, and then there were 3, and then there were 5 more.
So recently we had a team come from Bangalore, which is the closest big Indian city. There was a really international team that came. There were Koreans and Canadians, everybody say hello, Indians, and it was something we've been praying for a long time, because most of the time we're here and we're like trying to do ministry, but it's just so much better when there's more people here. And so David and Alicia are joining us now. They're our friends from Chicago, and we've just had a rich month with them and with the team that came. So we just want to share with you guys a few stories that happened in this time.
Okay, so when the team was here, we had some really awesome times of prayer and worship together. Every morning they would have devotions, we would join them for that, and then in the evenings we would have worship times with like songs. And one night in particular, well, it's happened several nights, but one night in particular, like it was dark and the lights were out or whatever, and we were just like singing by headlamp light and playing guitar. And we sang like 3 or 4 songs and just sung our heart out to Jesus. And in the end, like we finished the last song, we just sat there in like the presence of God.
Yeah.
So one of the mornings during worship, we had this girl come in. Her name is Yuta. She is from Germany. And actually they'd met her the day before. They had an amazing conversation. The next morning, Yuta comes in during worship. And I'm talking to her afterwards. She's like, this morning we were supposed to leave. Like me and it was either her boyfriend or her husband. He was really sick. So their plans got changed, and so they didn't leave. And she was out just looking for some food. Everything was closed, but she heard this music. She said she just felt drawn to it like a magnet. And so she came in, and as she was walking over, she said she knew she would find Angel and Megan here. And so she came in, and she just shared, and we talked with her, and she was asking about treasure hunts, and we were just saying how fun it was for us to find these people that God wanted to speak to. And she's like, yeah, and for me, like on the other end, it's just so amazing to be the treasure.
One of the guys, the team leader, had a really interesting testimony. Buddhism left him unfulfilled. He didn't find what he was looking for. He attained godhood, but after attaining godhood, he was like, if this is like everything there is in this life, like I'm so depressed right now. And so because of that, he kept searching, and eventually like someone shared Jesus with him. And through Jesus, like he found just this wholeness and this strength and this joy and this peace and this relationship and connection with God that he had been longing for years. And so we took him to the yoga teacher, and he's looking for truth. He's like, I'm not Hindu, I'm not Muslim, I'm not Buddhist, I'm not Christian, I'm not anything, but I'm open to whatever the truth is, and whatever the truth is, I want to believe it. When we came into the yoga studio, it was very, it was like this epic setting to share Jesus with someone. It was just quiet and still. We had our 3 tin cups with chai, our little biscuits, and the Holy Spirit was just there. You could just like feel his presence. It was just dripping on every word. As Sagar was telling his story with like all this joy and emotion, and the yoga teacher was just hanging on every word. It was just ministering to his spirit.
And we just went to all these different places, and we gave people like DVDs about the life of Jesus, which is just an amazing way of reaching into people's lives. And it's a great way of telling the story, because there's drama to it. It's visual, and a lot of the Indians don't even read, but almost every Indian home has a television in it. And so it's just a great way to be able to just witness and share with people. And so we gave like a bunch of DVDs, and people were just so happy, and because they were friends, and we were giving them to people as gifts. Really, we weren't handing them out to strangers, but people that we'd like have known. Also, the last evening that the team was here, we had just a spectacular open mic night in which we invited all of the travelers. We had a big sign out front for a couple of days where we were inviting people to come in, and we were going to have an open night, and people could just share or do whatever they wanted to do, whether it was singing, whether it was sharing poetry, whether it was playing an instrument or telling a joke or telling a story. A joke? But not just any joke.
Me?
I didn't say anything.
Why?
I
And we just had a very rich night here where it was just magical, where we were just sharing stories and songs, and we were just an amazing witness that that to have Jesus doesn't mean that you cease to be creative. It doesn't mean that you cease to be normal, but that we're very, like, we create and we do art, and it was just really meaningful, and it was really, really special. Okay, I think that's good.
Try again.
Smile.
Big smile, Christopher. No, bigger than that. You could do better than that.
So come join us. Pray for the work in Humpy. Give towards the rent, or show up and live the kingdom through simple kindness, worship, meditation, and sharing the good news of Jesus, who came to reconcile creation that we might know God.
Mat